Hello everybody. So, you're gonna have to excuse the really bootleg quality of this video. I'm actually not with my laptop, which is kind of taking a crap on me as we speak. I'm actually, excuse me, having to borrow somebody else's, and I'm actually at their house at the moment, so I apologize for any extra noise, but I did want to get this out there. Spider-Man video is still coming. I want to clarify that. I will probably have that done, hopefully, by the end of this month. I was actually debating whether or not to wait till after the game came out, or around the time the game came out, and upload it then. But I didn't think that you guys should have to wait another couple months for a video, but this might actually be a blessing in disguise. So if you guys are cool with that, you know, we can discuss that then. It would be rather topical, but for now we got to talk about something. Broly is back. Broly is back, and Broly is canon. What I mean by that is the upcoming Dragon Ball Super film, the one that Akira Toriyama wrote, based on the anime events of Dragon Ball Super, which is what he's continuing from. It got revealed. I think it was revealed a little bit early, because I don't think they wanted to reveal that before Comic-Con, but it got revealed that the film will be featuring Broly as one of the lead antagonists. And the reason that that's kind of a big deal is, you know, Broly kind of only existed in movies before. Movies that didn't necessarily fit the timeline of the Dragon Ball story. So the second people heard that, they started freaking out. They were like, why a fourth Broly movie? Why are we going through this? You know, he's a mindless monster, he's not interesting. I wanted something cool, and I wanted to learn things about the Saiyans past, and, you know, we thought it was Yamoshi and yada yada yada, etc. To be perfectly blunt, I kind of, before I even knew what was what, you know, I kind of knee-jerk reacted to it, and I was not happy. I didn't really post anything about it, though, because I've been trying to get better. One thing that I'm trying to do, definitely, is get better at certain things, especially, like, when it comes to, like, shooting off at the mouth. You know, I get way too caught up in whatever I'm doing, or just, you know, way too loose. You know, and there are times where, like, I'll say people are idiots or something like that, and you know, I'm half kidding, but it doesn't sound like it, and, you know, that just causes all kinds of drama. So I'm trying to get better at that, but I'm also trying to get better at, you know, not flying off the handle about stuff until I have all the details. So, which is partially why I'm kind of glad it took me this long to be able to record this. But I mean, before I even knew what was what, you know, I kind of calmed down and I thought about it for a second, and I was like, you know, this actually is an interesting opportunity, because they could take Broly and do something with him. You know, if they have to put it with the continuity of the series now, I said, well, that it's almost a given then that they're going to have to change his backstory, they're going to have to change his personality, you know, they're going to have to give a reason for him to be here. Is he one of the ancient Saiyans or something that they were talking about before? Because they had said that this is going to involve, like, the origin of the Saiyans or something like that, or the origins of their power or something like that. So, I mean, is Broly a part of that, or is it just something that they're going to learn? Does Broly know it? And if Broly knows it, does that mean that he actually has, you know, something resembling intelligence now? Which is interesting, you know? But I do want to say, and I know that somewhere out there a certain YouTuber is going to be rolling his eyes at this. This does confirm there is a canon. Okay, I'm going to say that. It really does, in a sense, because, I mean, this, especially if Broly is, like, out of time and out of place, you know, just kind of, it becomes one of those scenarios where it's not just a what if from a different timeline. You know, but even then, like, honest to goodness, the whole Xenoverse style everything is canon, but nothing is canon, but everything is canon because multiple timelines. You know, that's been the running thing. I mean, Super itself kind of establishes, you know, Toriyama himself established, you know, the time rings. There are 5 time rings, which means that there are at most 5 timelines, although some people think there are only 4, and the main one is just used to kind of navigate through those timelines. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case, but, you know, those timelines are also, you know, mostly accounted for. I mean, we have the main timeline that we're in. We have the timeline where Goku died that, you know, Trunks came from. Then we have the alternate timeline, you know, where Trunks, you know, kills Cell. Or Cell kills Trunks, takes his time machine and comes back. So that's 3 right there. So assuming that any of the other timelines are a thing that's possible, you know, you'd only have 2. But I digress. That's a topic for another day, and I really don't want to get too in depth with that because it's not relevant to the video. But the point is, they're taking a concept, you know, an idea that I think a lot of people like, even if they don't like the execution. They like kind of the concept of Broly and what he could have been, you know, or what he might have represented. And they have a chance to do it right, or just do it completely differently. Abandon that concept. I know some people don't even like the concept of it. Well, they might get rid of that. We don't know. There's a lot of possibility here. But what I find interesting is when Akira Toriyama made his comment, and he kind of low-key trolled the Broly fans, specifically the fanboys. And he's like, you know, hey, what's up, people? Are you aware of a character named Broly? You know, it seems he's actually pretty popular in Japan and overseas, and, well, you know, I just figured I might, you know, include him in a movie. My editor thought it would be a good idea. I honestly didn't even remember him. You know, it's the tone of it. Like, I should probably read you the whole thing, just because, honest to goodness, it is pretty passive-aggressive. Like, it sounds innocuous, but when you know Toriyama and you know his sense of humor and the fact that he kind of has this biting sarcasm, it reads a lot better that way. Alright, I found it. Here we go. Alright, comments from Akira Toriyama. Everyone, are you familiar with Broly? He's an incredibly strong Saiyan who only appeared in the old anime movies, and I apparently at least drew the designs for him, but I had practically no involvement with the anime at the time, so I had totally forgotten about the story content. So about Broly. I hear these days he's still very popular, not only in Japan but also overseas. Based on that, my editor suggested we have Broly appear in this next movie. I went ahead and watched the movies from back then, and I felt this could be quite interesting once I rearranged some things. I got back to work trying my hand at a story that incorporates him into the Dragon Ball Super series. While keeping in mind Broly's classic image so as not to disappoint his fans, I updated him and added a new side to his character, and I think this has resulted in a more fascinating Broly. Naturally, you'll get to see fierce combat, but also the paths of destiny that led to an encounter between Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. It also involves the Frieza Force and the history of the Saiyans, which end up having a major connection to everything. The story content turns out to be very large-scale and dramatic. Here comes that almighty Saiyan Broly! I'm also including lots of other content all you fans will enjoy, so look forward to it, and be patient a while longer for it all to come together. What I love about that is he basically kind of acknowledges that about the only people who are probably going to care that Broly's like in the movie are the people who are like big fans of his already, and it's like for everybody else, there's a lot of other stuff too, so don't worry. But I don't know, man. To me, that just reads as like some fairly passive-aggressive trolling on his part. I mean, it's like, you know, hey, apparently I drew this thing, and I have no idea what it was. And the reason that I found that amusing is because all these fanboys went from rubbing this in everyone's face to immediately, like, pissed off or disappointed mode. And what I mean by that is, like, instantly just, oh man, they're gonna ruin him, aren't they? Or, oh man, well now I'm less excited. I wanted to see him just utterly tear things up. It's like, oh my gosh. Whereas, I actually saw one person at least say that Toriyama forgot about Broly, which is the best thing to come out of Dragon Ball before Super, which means that he really doesn't give a crap about this series at all. Spoken, like, unironically, too. So yeah, they're not happy about the fact that they kind of just got, you know, low-key dunked on here. But what I've noticed is that with a lot of other fans, it's actually having the opposite reaction. They started out really disappointed and angry, and after reading these comments, they're like a bit more open-minded about it. I would say that I'm not too worried about it because, I mean, Toriyama, one thing that he's always been pretty good with is making characters that you can like, or at least love to hate. I mean, look at Frieza, look at Cell, look at Beerus and Whis, you know. And even what he was able to do with some of the super characters, even though he didn't directly control them, you know, he made them at least fun. So, and he did help shape them. But one thing that I do notice is Broly's design here is actually really interesting because it's not the traditional Broly look. I mean, it's clearly got some influence from it, but it's definitely not. And considering that I think that was him that we saw in the trailers, you know, he's got these fur pelts that he's wearing. He's got what, I mean, it doesn't quite look like the ancient armor they used to wear, like what Kaba wears. But it doesn't quite look as new or modern as the current Saiyan armor, so it almost, he might be like something from in between those eras, which would mean he's actually probably pretty old. And if they're up in the Arctic, it might be that he somehow got frozen or something. I don't know. Maybe he's how they knew that Earth was a planet. I have no idea. But who knows? But it's just interesting because he's definitely gotten a refresh. I love Shintani's look for him. The way that he's got him, like, not so ridiculously ripped. Like, the whole thing about Broly in his, like, initial stage 2 is that he's not supposed to be, like, uber buff, according to them. They actually said that, you know, he looks fairly lean and scrawny. Not this, you know, like, hulking monster type deal. And it's like, I can't believe that's him. And it's like, he's like 9 feet tall. And his abs are like in a permanent state of flex. And he's got biceps the size of Vegeta's head. But he's like, you know, scrawny. So I was kind of glad to see that they've scaled that down a bit. He's got battle scars, too. A lot of battle scarring, which I like, because that will also imply that he's not just, you know, an invincible tank, or even necessarily a mindless brute. He's been in fights that have, you know, messed him up before. So it's not like he's invincible. I mean, the poster art looks like gorgeous, that they can attain that level of animation quality in motion. That this movie's going to be freaking amazing. So I'm actually kind of, yeah, I mean, from a visual standpoint, obviously. So I'm excited about that. They did say at one point during an interview that the girls of the series, the ladies, so Chi-Chi, Bulma, 18, Videl probably, are going to be at least appearing. So we're going to get to see them in this new style, which according to them, they all look extra cute, so everyone can calm down about them looking like ugly, because I know for some reason that's something certain chunks of this fandom care about a lot. But if they're going to be in the movie, you know, it'd be interesting to see who else shows up. Piccolo showed up in some initial art reveals, so I'm not sure how central he might be to the story. Maybe a lot, maybe not at all. Maybe it's because he fused with Kami and Kami knows something. I don't know. You know, we'll see. I do want to see, like, everybody else in this art style, though. You know, I mean, we've seen, like, Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, Whis, Frieza, his new minions. I want to see, like, I want to see Tien. I want to see Krillin. I want to see Yamcha. I want to see, you know, I want to see Mr. Satan. I want to see them, and in this style, because, like, it worked wonders for Goku. Vegeta still looks, you know, like a crabby butthead, but hey, he always does. But I do kind of like the fact that he's got the more, you know, flamey hair, I guess, when he goes Super Saiyan again, as opposed to just kind of a color change. So there is like a significant difference in his hairstyle now. Again, Goku's hair when he goes Super Saiyan looks kind of like it did back in the Namek arc, where it got all poofy instead of just, you know, kind of straight up like spikes, you know, spiny, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see how everybody else, you know, comes off in this art style. And it's something I'm really looking forward to. And I really hope, especially since the Frieza Force is involved again, please, I am begging you, give them something to do. I don't care if it's like a throwaway fight. Just let them. Just let them. Everybody loved that in Resurrection F. Even, you know, whether it was the anime arc or the movie. You know, that's one thing that everybody loved seeing, was these characters, you know, getting to fight again. Whether it was beautifully animated or not, you know, that's neither here nor there. The point is, you know, it's something people liked to see. And so I'm really hoping that they do that again. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, that's really derivative, and they did that in the last one. I don't care. Nobody's going to care. What they're going to want to see is these guys fighting, you know, in this art style. Especially since Shintani, one of the reasons that he was chosen was he can depict how the body moves naturally inside of like clothes, like the way Goku moves in his gi. You can see sometimes the gi doesn't move, but he does. You know, his mass shifts inside there, or other times, you know, it like flaps up in the breeze, or and the motions were just so smooth. You know, I want to see everybody getting to fight in that. That would be amazing. It really would. But yeah, Broly is here. They have a chance to finally give him a personality and do him right. And, I mean, you guys know me. You guys know that I have absolutely no love for Broly whatsoever. None. But I would be remiss if I did not say I am actually, I don't want to say quite cautiously even, but I'm actually kind of optimistic about this. You know? I get the complaint about, you know, it being Broly at all. I get that. I get why some people don't want that. I understand it completely. Part of me, you know, is saying, you know, I kind of wish it had been someone original, but whatever. But, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Broly here is going to become an original character, in that this is going to be Toriyama's Broly. It's going to be how he envisions him, and it's going to be essentially the depiction of Broly going forward. Well, I'd like to say that, but sadly, especially in the realm of video games, I'm pretty sure that they're just going to bring back the screaming roid monkey. Just because, you know, whatever. But yeah, seeing Broly, like, you know, scarred up with a tail, wearing armor, that's going to be a sight to see. Unless they only put that in the teaser and they ditch the armor and everything in the final cut. But I'm not sure they do that. I don't know. And it is nice to see, too, that for someone who's supposedly scrawny, Broly actually does kind of start out scrawny before even going legendary Super Saiyan or Berserk or whatever they're going to call it, if he even goes that in this movie. You know, he just kind of went from being relatively lean to, you know, when he powers up, the muscles start to bulge out, you know. And that's actually a really nice touch, because that, if they had done it that way in, like, the original movie, it would have been so much more believable that this guy, you know, can't possibly be. Because it's like, when you look at him, it's like, yeah, he could possibly be. But, yeah. Anyways, that is it for me for now. What do you guys think about this? Are you excited? Are you mad? Are you scared? Let me know. We are open to discussion here, as you all well know. At any rate, I will catch you guys later. The trailer is going to be debuting at Comic-Con, so I will probably do another video after that drops, giving my thoughts on that. I might talk about this a little bit, you know, in between. I mean, if you guys really want that Spider-Man video, like, ASAP, though, I will push that up. I will. But otherwise, yeah, I'm thinking I might drop it, like, a week or so before the game comes out. And, you know, I mean, I had thought about doing it after, though, but it's like, nah, I mean, I could do a separate video on the game later. So yeah. that is it for now, and I will catch you guys later.